Welcome to Galactic Grandmother Heart to Heart. My name is April, and my special guest today is Toni Ghazi. I was fortunate enough to meet Toni this past summer at the Cosmic Awakening Conference in Sedona, where he was a speaker. And you know that old saying, a smile lights up the room. That is Toni. His smile lights up the room, and he emanates a frequency of love which just is very heart opening. And he is a multi-talented being. He is a author, a teacher, a spiritual guide, and a channel for the Mantis Beings, which I'm going to let him tell his story because it's not often that you get contacted and become a spiritual channel to the degree that he is. So, welcome so much. It's such an honor to have you, Toni.
Thank you so much, April. It was absolutely magical when we met. Your energy was off the charts,
Oh,
and we exchanged numbers. She's like, "I'm gonna contact you." I'm like, "Please do. I'm going to do as well." And we did it, and here we are.
how did the Mantis Beings first come in contact with you?
I'm new to this scene, guys. I've never been a channeler, didn't believe in aliens or like let alone insect beings. It's like one thing to say I believe in angels because angels we understand like in our minds like through our religion that they're but then you say you talk to an insectoid being, you must be out of your mind. Like, go to the hospital. I get comments on like social media, all these things because they see one aspect of it is speaking to insectoid beings. But anyhow, the point is that wasn't my world, but it is my world now. And I had my first past life regression where I was regressed in or placed under hypnosis to begin remember lives, like whatever that meant. And I've never done it before. Immediately, the moment I went into the like hypnosis state,
Huh.
first image was of a like rectangular head of a praying mantis. Immediately. But the coolest thing about it, it was a flash of an image. When I say a flash, the most fastest second you can ever imagine. But the magical thing is within that fastest second that was like here and there, I was also in it forever. It was the first time ever where I experienced the idea of instantaneous image flash,
Mhm.
but while I was in it for infinite times. The next image was of this long-bodied silhouette, the head, the arms like this, about 30, 40 feet high. Like you see the head, you see the shoulders, the arms. No like details, but you could see like light emanating like through it. And
Mhm.
I heard like telepathically very clearly. They said, "We are coming to you through the idea of humanoid light form because your brain is able to comprehend and understand this archetype of a form.
Right.
If we truly come to you in our essence, in our like free form intelligence, your mind wouldn't be able to construct any image because it hasn't seen
Mhm.
anything like this before. But as you begin to build a relationship with us, as like we begin to like as you begin to surrender to us so we can reveal more to you of who we are, you'll begin to understand like what we are. Again, that was an instantaneous flash, but within it, I was in it like forever. The third and like last image, magical. And that's what I knew. They're of love, unconditional love, and they're of light. They showed me a heart. It was a heart, but sliced. Slices into infinity, to the right, to the left. There was like infinite corridors of slices. It's the best way that I can like describe it. On each of the slice, it was faceted. So this is like a crystal, okay? Like we've all seen crystals.
Beautiful.
But the interesting thing about the facets were the clarity, the intelligence of the clarity. There was an aliveness, there was a consciousness and intelligence about the clarity of each of the facets. It's the best way that I can like describe it. And these facets were on all of these slices into infinity. And again, this was a flash second, but I was in it for a long time. And within that infiniteness, on the right hand side, there was a grain, the smallest grain you can, like a micro grain of light. And they said, like telepathically, each and every one of you, meaning all like consciousnesses, each and every one of you are so powerful that you do not need a massive volcano or a flame or a bonfire to remind yourself that you are like really powerful being. All you need is a micro grain of your light. And in that moment, that little grain of light reflected off the one facet, I'm getting chills again, off the one facet to the next, into infinite, the infinite fast, creating a Merkaba of light. And in that moment, I knew immediately, it was an instant recognition of unconditional love because of the heart, and of light because of like this Merkaba of. But I ran out of that session calling my friends, saying, "Oh my God, I belong to the insectoid. Praying mantis came." But that was my, like, I want to say basic understanding, because I was still awakening, but now I like realize I'm all of it, I'm
Right.
everything. And that in our life, on our path, like certain aspects of us that are relevant for this theme will come online to
Right.
assist, awaken, adjust, all these things. So that's exactly how like they came through. That like you're the Antarian heart, that like you connect to the Antares Stargate, that like you channel extra dimensional beings. But
Do the mantis beings present in different colors?
so they actually use like sound vibration, they use color frequencies, and they use light vibration to create their reality. They even color like is intelligence. It's not a
Right.
thing. It's like not an inanimate object. It's a frequency of creation. So yeah, they're, and it's really funny because I am colorblind. Like I don't see green, I don't see red, I don't see brown, I don't see like some like hues of blues or like purple. I mean, I see a like color, I just don't know the name of it. That's the best way I can describe it to you. But it's really funny because when I channel and I have my eyes closed and experience things, I know red, I know brown, I know things, I know pink, I know these things. It's just like a knowingness, and I like say it, but then when I come back to my human body, it's like I don't see things. But like they told me clearly, you're not meant to see the world the way quote unquote everyone else like sees it. Sure.
Did they originate or are they associated with a certain planet?
The ones that I connect with are not physical. They are, the best way that they described it to me, they're like the idea of the internet. Like
Uh-huh.
there's no like physical thing where the internet is. Like
Right.
what's the internet? There's not a like, a tangible thing. They're like that. They're just like intelligence, of consciousness that isn't physical, that's
Right.
just not infiltrated, but is part of everything and is aware of itself as all. But when I connect with them, they come through the Antares. So like there's a planet called Antares, I think it's two planets, but like the planet. But what I like connect with is not like the Antares planet, but it's the energetic portal and intelligence of which they kind of come through, or I don't know how to describe it,
Uh-huh.
to allow me to connect like with them. I had a super amazing astrologer that it took me a year and a half to get like an appointment with him. When we began like speaking, he started laughing. He's like, "I'm sorry. I'm gonna be unconventional with you. I'm not gonna do the horoscope thing with you, like I normally do it like with other people." And he said, "Do you know what Antares means?" I'm like, and I go into my mind like, "Yeah, it's a planet, but not a planet. And the man's come through." Da, da, da. He's like, "No, no, 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 that's not what I mean." I'm like, "Do you know what it energetically means?" I'm like, "No." He literally said, I swear to God, it's all recorded. He said, "Unconditional love." He said,
Oh.
I swear it's crazy. He said a frequency of love that humanity is searching for, is needed as part of. I couldn't believe he even said that. Couldn't, because I've already been experiencing like that idea. But when you connect with the menses, when you like, when you feel their energy, and we all can channel them. Like, of course, in like this is like for your audience, we all can channel all beings. I'm not special. But on my path, this is like relevant for me. All of us already channel, actually, we just don't remember that we do. And through the praying mantis beings, God, there's so much to talk about. They're amazing. They really, 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 and I want to say this very like slowly, they're all about unconditional love. Love without conditions. And when I say that, I mean to everything. They
Mhm.
talked about war. They talked about kids dying. They talked about victimhood. They talked about Hitler. They talked about the Holocaust. They talked about like very triggering things that humanity sees as evil and the devil and the worst things ever we can do to us. through the lens of the Mantis beings, they were able to shift the lens to really make me see. And the people that posed that questions, like posed the questions like to them, what unconditional love really like looks like. And this doesn't mean you condone these actions. No. It means, how am I able to stretch my heart even further and witness? So they allowed me to understand what love without conditions means and looks like. And the thing with them, they never ever judge. Ever, ever.
Right.
They witness everything from a lens of unconditional love. They understand the grander context of what is occurring that we are unable to see. But actually, like the mushroom medicine, I was called to use mushrooms, and it wasn't a high dose. It was like 1 milligram, which is not, of course, like through the Mantis Beings, because they guide me to do like when I like decided to do like the mushroom medicine, I had my intention with questions like before I ingested like the mushroom, but when I ingested the mushroom and it began like to take effect, like somehow within it, while I was not conscious or perhaps more conscious than now, I asked the question, what is physical body? I literally was like, okay, mushrooms, what's physical body? What is this? Don't give me concepts. Don't give me ideas. I want to understand what physical body is. And it
Mhm.
gave me the most beautiful image of it. It like showed me what seems to be like my ancestor lines from almost like from my periphery. I mean, of course, like my eyes are closed and I'm in space wherever I am.
Right.
I see this like whole line of energies. And I understood immediately it was my lineage, all of my aspects of me that have lived all forms of life.
Mhm.
And they told me precisely every wish, every desire, every prayer that each of those versions have prayed out. So if each version, like for example, like didn't like, for example, how it looked, I wish I looked this way. I wish I had more money. I wish, whatever wishes they had, each and every one of them, those energies, those intentions of wishes that were sent out into the ether began forming my physical body. Each and every one of us are the embodiment of the many wishes, oh my God, the chills, that each and every version of us in the past wished they could be and couldn't because of the idea of limitation or whatever. And they said then, how precious your physical vessel is. How can I not see myself of value? Like, I am the embodiment of everything that they wanted to be, but they couldn't. Not just me, each and every one of us. Like, it was the first time that I understood what precious really meant and how my life, my story, everything that unfolded up to this point, every microsecond of it is the point, is a gift, is magic, is living God within us. The Mantises like recently like gave me this beautiful like image. They said, your bodies contain trillions of cells.
Right.
Trillions, trillions and trillions. Each cell is an emanation of God. They said you are a God containing within you trillions of other gods.
No.
Things like that my mind doesn't
Yeah.
even know. Like when you begin to realize that, not only do you see yourself as a precious vessel, you're able to witness others as
Mhm.
being precious. Whatever role they're playing out, that through our mind, through our forgetfulness that we're all divine, we may judge the roles, we may judge ideas. But
Mhm.
when you realizing fully that each and every one of us are conscious God beings playing out all these infinite roles simply for
Right.
expansion, to allow the infinite to expand with us, like how can you then judge? Like, I mean, like the mantis being said, even the idea you are attempting to manifest tells you already that you cannot manifest. They
You have
said it's
to
okay.
be have to put yourself in that I've already got it.
Yes, because if you know that you are a creator, why would you need desire even manifestation?
Right.
But
Right.
none of us believes that we're creators. They said you are like parrots. They weren't judging us. They were just allowing us to see that we speak concepts, don't comprehend. When I say I'm a creator, that's it. Desire of manifestation doesn't exist within that vibration. Because you are, then go ahead, create whatever you choose. Of like abundance and like money that we all kind of struggle with because we're all on the same path of like forgetting. How do you see money? How did you grow up? Like, what were the definitions that are buried so deep you don't even know they exist, that are running the program of lack, of I'm not a creator, of this, of that. To begin to work with these things. And if you've been in the spiritual world, you hear about mirrors, that you're my mirror, like, what does that mean? But like through the praying mantis beings, they said All this information, by the way, guys, always comes through channel messages, like to people or like to groups. I never been called to sit by myself and just like channel like knowledge, although I may begin doing it soon. Up to this point, it's always like been through dialogue. And like when I channel, I have my eyes closed the whole time for 2 or 3 hours and I go, into the
Mhm.
state and like you begin
Mhm.
dialoguing. So that's how I've received all my information up to this point. They gave me this beautiful like image for like the person that asked, said, imagine you walking outside of your house. You open the door, you're outside of the house now, and just look around. Everything you see, blade of grass, the clouds, sunlight, humans, the car, the tire on the car, the stones, the asphalt, everything you see, even if you witness an interaction with people, even if a thought crosses your mind, everything that you experience as you're standing still. They said, each and every one of those are ascended masters, literally holding a mirror for you to see what you are unable to see within your heart.
Mm. Mhm.
And in that moment, they said, what a beautiful gift, with an S, gifts. Each and every one of you have given yourselves that everything you see outside of you are all mirrors. Each and every one of them designed to bring you back to your own heart. Each and every one of them has pieces of information. I have a lot of materials coming back to you. Like when you begin to comprehend and realize, I am surrounded by infinite gifts, every single one of them designed to lead me back to my heart, to find out more about who I am. All of us are trying to find out who we are and what we are
Right.
and what the purpose of life. To understand yourself more is the idea of unconditional love, loving without conditions, and integration of everything that seems to be, and the key is seeming, the illusion of like separate, seems to be outside of you to really be you. What a magical place we created. Now,
Right.
people talk about unconditional love. We've constructed in our mind what love means and like looks like. I'm going to say this very clear to everyone, and this is to me too, because I'm also like living in this here. No one of us, none of us can truly understand love without conditions
Mhm.
until you experience it inside of you.
Mhm.
Up until that point, if you are not going within your shadows, aspects of you that you have buried consciously or perhaps unconsciously, or stories you created, aspects of you that you chose you don't want to deal with, you don't want to see, you don't want to accept as part of you, like you've shunned them away, you've pushed them away. Those aspects of you are desiring to be seen, to be as part of you. Because in our search to understand what spirituality is, we've fallen into the pitfall on the light aspect of the spectrum. Humanity created the spectrum, good, the bad, and like the neutral. Everything that's good, if I'm successful, if I'm happy, if I'm meditating every day, if I'm channeling, listen to me, I'm talking about unconditional love. Like a parrot. Praying Mantis Beings said, each and every one of you, without judgment, they said, you are like parrots. You recite things, but you don't comprehend them. But dare you go into this spectrum of who you are? Because we said earlier, I'm an infinite being, I'm all of it.
Right.
Going into this, the shadows of who you are, and beginning to loving without conditions what each and every aspect of you that has done, meaning every decision that you made that you regretted, every bad thought you had, every bad choice. There's no bad to the eyes of creation, but through our minds, all of those serve the purpose. All of those under the label of bad, there's a flame of creation under it. How are these alive? How are these aspects of you even creating? How can you create if there isn't a flame, some sort of fuel that is allowing that creation to happen, regardless whether it's good or bad? So underneath the labels, there's always God. So when you begin to comprehend that and love every aspect of you unconditionally and begin to vibrate that within you, that's when you are able to have the lens of unconditional love to see the rest. Up until that point, you are living a fantasy concept of what unconditional love is. Because so many of us have said, oh, peace around the world, oh, this, all these beautiful words. But within us, or even with our actions, we're judging. There's a lot of forms of judgment. There's even judgment that looks so unconditionally loving, but it's a form of judgment. Be careful. So when you begin to realize everyone outside of you, human, non-human, plants, are all aspects of you, how can you then judge? Like when you really realize beyond the mind, those are me, living their roles to allow God, the infinite, to know more about itself. Like
Right.
then there's no way on earth you wouldn't begin to try to learn how to love those things that you've been taught by like society in schools and cultures and religion and other things. not to perhaps love. And like through the Mantis Beings, they also like brought a point about energies, and like they spoke about it from the idea of homelessness, right? So like in DC, like we have a lot of homelessness. I mean, everywhere across the world, like we have people like living on the street. And I've been taught through my culture and through all of our cultures that you give money, you give food, blah blah blah, and then there's all these things, don't give money because they may go get drugs or whatever it is, right? Just the whole the like training of what we should do.
Right.
But oftentimes we see the Mantis being said, you witness and view what looks like homelessness to you from a disempowered point of view. So in that moment, even though you're giving them money or food or whatever, or you're assisting them, within your field, you've already projected the idea of disempowerment that, oh, like, he's on the street. You're not seeing behind the illusion
Hmm.
that there is an ascended God master that has consciously chosen as energy to live that specific path to allow himself, herself to expand through that. The next time you see a homeless man and give money and give food or whatever, begin seeing them from the lens of empowerment, because simply by your intention of fully realizing and recognizing they are ascended masters, they are gods,
Right.
that alone awakens within their field that they are gods. Because even in the role that they have chosen to live as a homeless, there is a forgetfulness that they are God. But by you seeing them simply as gods, you awaken within their field the empowered state of being. And this is what the mantises do. They've been using words and tweaking them just an angle. Everything shifts. All about love. This is where, when we begin to become conscious of how empowered we are, not empowered like I'm stronger than you, like ego, empowered in the sense, wow, I'm everything, and I can see my other like who's that homeless person to begin with? Isn't that a version of you and me? Yes, and we have choice in this life to
Right.
either continue living in the forgetfulness of all and keep sending energy, mirror back to him the forgetfulness of who I am, or I can choose consciously to remember my empowerment and see him from an empowered state of being, so that being can begin to see itself again as empowered. Because although he is an ascended master, in the role that he chose forgetfulness. This is how we begin to empower each other and assist each other energetically beyond the words, through thought, through the Mensa said each and every one of you are tethered to every potential consciousness. Like there's never a point where we're disconnected energy wise. So the thought, the things always being like fed into a loop to each other, to everything else. So when you become like conscious that I'm this electrical grid connected to everything else, you're like, wow, now I have a choice to experience a reality that I choose, right? To awaken everyone with my own awakening, while also honoring the choice of that being, that even though you may continue like sending empowerment and remembrance, shall that being choose to continue to stay in the disempowered forgetfulness state,
Mhm.
that's where loving without condition also, that's the
Right.
next level of that, to literally honor them fully as ascended masters they have chosen, and allowing them to experience the gift of the infinite through their lens.
I don't think anyone hasn't had a personal lesson where they've had to practice loving detachment,
Yes,
whether it's with family or friend, that you really can't help them. You just have to witness and be a loving pillar of strength for them if they choose
yes,
to take advantage.
yes, like yes. Open it up into the multidimensionality, and everything is like crisscross lines of so many timelines that
Mhm.
with one little tiny intention, the whole architecture, the mathematic creation shifted. Everything is shifting instantaneously within billions of seconds and billions times per second. And you begin to focus on your intentions, your self-work, your vision, your intention of which timeline you then choose. Or even the collective of humanity, the collection, all the humans, right? Yes, we're all like one energy. We're all shifting like together as a big, I'm going to say the word herd of humans. But
Right.
even within what seems to be a herd, there is the individual like sovereignty to choose that reality. Where do you choose to go? Where do you choose to see humanity head? Like, what are things like within the world that you are witnessing that you don't desire, and go within yourself and start shifting that there? Now, again, because of the complexity, like so many timelines, you can be shifting fully on a new timeline while observing every single human on the planet going in one direction or many other directions. The more that we go in
Right.
and continue to stay on that high frequency of conscious, like I'm not as asleep as I was yesterday. I'm more
Right.
aware and conscious of the more. That energy, because we're interconnected, will feed into the rest, giving them seeds and clues for them to awaken on their path when they want to, when they choose to. But also as you witness them while choosing they don't want to awaken, that's the lesson, is to allow them to be precisely where they are, witnessing humanity not reach that vision that you have through the eyes of loving without condition is really the ascension like within. We're so trained that we're getting to a better timeline, that humanity be much better there, because we've constructed an image or some energy of that there is more valuable than now, when right here and right now, everything we're witnessing, everything that's occurring in terms of forgetfulness is the fucking point, is the fucking gift, is fucking God playing out its best role ever. When we begin to see that fully from love without condition, without comparing it to the next like destination, is the acceleration. But I want to leave a message
Good.
for like your audience. We've been so conditioned, all of us, to like view other people and put them on pedestal and compare and contrast and devalue the self. What you see in me, or what you see in April, whoever is on your path of, oh, he's more ascended than me. No one is more ascended than the next person. All of us are ascended masters, remembering again of how more ascended we actually are. But your voice, your frequency, your lens, your life, your story, every experience you had, every feeling you've experienced, the good, the should, the would, the positive, the negative, all of it, your whole story. The Mantis like said, imagine yourself writing a book about your life, however old you are now, from the point you were conceived to this age, writing every microsecond of your existence, everything that happened, every emotion, every wish, every desire, every fuck up, everything, and begin seeing all of it as value. Begin seeing all of it as creation. When you begin judging yourself less, and hopefully not at all, is where you begin to hear and listen the voice of your soul, because your facet, the way you are created, the sacred geometry that you are, the story that you had, is literally the only story that you can ever have within the infinite. That's how valuable and precious you are. Speak your mind, speak your truth, speak your heart. Trust your vision. Trust the way you see. The whole fucking planet could see one thing. You could be seeing something completely different.
Right.
Speak it out. Act it out. Love it. Profess it. Because that is your lens. Is needed for God itself to experience itself through you.
Mhm.
None of our pieces will ever fit together. My piece will never be April. April will never be her mom or dad or her cousin or her audience. None of us, each of our facets are unique that will complete God one day for it to realize it's God. But if you suppress, deep forgetfulness, eventually you'll remember. You want to take the long, abridged version? Go ahead. Creation will support you on that. But if you want the accelerated version, start stepping outside of the bounds of society, of your fear. Fears are the most amazing messengers ever. Every time you're terrified, know that on the other side, there's that power of God. That's why you're terrified, because there's a power of God on the other side. And you will release and be free. All of us are trying to be free. The point is, allow energy to flow in whichever way. Singing, dancing, being by the water, swimming, art, I don't know, creating clothes, job, like whatever your soul desires, do not suppress anymore. Because when you allow it to speak through you, however it looks, it begins to unlock more of who you are. And no one within the infinite can speak your voice or your lens except you. So don't rob humanity from seeing your beauty. Don't rob God and consciousness from fully seeing itself through you. And the more you suppress yourself from being that facet, sounding, creating, experiencing, seeing, literally the more you, with no judgment, because they're saying don't judge Tony. With no judgment, you just decelerate your awakening that you are part of the whole. That's it. You get to choose. You can either take eons and eons and eons to remember, or you can accelerate a little bit by one less eon. So no, you know, so it's up to you. All of it, because look, eventually we're gonna get to self. Eventually we're gonna realize. So it's all beautiful. It's all amazing.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
You're welcome,
Yes,
honey.
you have a fabulous day. Love you,
I
and we
love
will
you.
speak soon.
Okay, my love. Have an
All right,
amazing, amazing, magical day.
all
Mwah.
righty.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye, sweetheart.